Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar, run through the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days. In terms of precipitation, it's going to be pretty up and down, with some days with heavy showers and some persistent rain around. Other days are looking a lot drier. But the one thing that we are going to be seeing changing over the coming days is the temperatures. And over the past couple of weeks, the first half of June, we've been pretty chilly. It's been below average, and the Met Office CET is currently 2 degrees below average, which isn't ridiculous in terms of sort of the condition for the past few decades, but considering what we've seen over the past couple of years, where we haven't seen a single month really under zero, with a negative anomaly, -2 is pretty exceptional compared to what we've had over the past couple of years. But that could be changing, as we are likely to see temperatures turning quite a bit warmer later this week and potentially in towards next week as well. Not only are we going to be seeing high pressure making more of an influence, but we're also going to be seeing those upper air temperatures rising to above average once again. So we could be seeing mid-20s, high 20s, maybe even a low chance of 30 degrees or more in that medium to long range period. We have to have a look at that in more detail on those latest GFS, GM, EastWF and the ensembles, as again they are trending in a positive direction. Not 100% there, but definitely trending towards something warmer and drier for the second half, or at least the rest really, of June. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you do like and subscribe. And remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. Now, if you start on the live radar, you can see there's some patches of rain around at the moment. I'm calling this around midnight, it's actually quite late in the evening. But there's a few patches of rain around, and we've seen a few heavy showers again today. But for many, it's actually been fairly pleasant. The only caveat is there's still a little bit of a chill to the air, but those temperatures will be increasing over the coming days. Now this evening, it's not a particularly cold night, but plenty of yellows around, but very little hints of orange for much of northern and western Europe, and that's because the upper air temperatures really are not warm at all, and it just means that it's not particularly summer-like out there. When the sun gets out, UV levels are still very high. We're reaching the solstice very soon, so it is hot when you get stuck out in the sun for a while. But if you have a bit of shade, the wind starts blowing, you need a couple of layers. So hopefully that changes in the near future. Now, if you look at the latest UKV, you'll be able to see that it's not going to be bone dry this upcoming working week. You can see showers through this evening do continue, but as they head into tomorrow, they do become more pop-up and more isolated. As we head into Tuesday, again, it doesn't look too bad. Again, could be some more pop-up showers, some thunderstorms. So you can see it's not bone dry, but it is mostly dry for many areas. Into Wednesday, some more cloud building into the north and west, and this could give more persistent rain for Scotland. But elsewhere, it's actually much drier. Bit of high-level cloud, which could mean that it's a bit more hazy out there, but still pretty pleasant indeed. As we head into Thursday, again, some thicker cloud and some more persistent rain drifting into Friday. And the same could be said for Friday afternoon into Saturday, where there's rain in the north, but nothing too bad. Further southwards, if we're being completely honest, it's pretty decent actually. So if you are across England and Wales, there's a chance of a few showers over the next few days, but it actually shouldn't be too bad. And that's all because high pressure is starting to nudge up from the south. You can see it's not dominating. The isobares are still coming in from the west, so it's not dominating yet, but it is definitely giving something a bit drier further southwards. And you can see the upper air temperatures are back towards average, if not above average. And if you look at those temperatures this afternoon, maybe scraping 20 degrees. Into tomorrow, could get slightly higher, 21 or 22. Into Tuesday, again 20 to 22, but look what happens on Wednesday, more widely 20 to 22, drifting further northwards and westwards as well. And then into Thursday and Friday, those temperatures rise further, 24, 25 degrees in London. But then if we have a look at Friday, you can see, look at that, 26, maybe even a 27. And that is looking pretty decent indeed. So getting back towards average. I remember for London, heatwave thresholds are 28 degrees. And then slowly as we transition further northwards and westwards, it gets down to about 25 degrees for most other parts of the British Isles. So almost hitting heatwave thresholds there. Not quite getting there, and again, we need 3 consecutive days for a heatwave, but slowly getting towards something that we'd consider warm, very warm, and maybe even hot. So definitely looking pretty positive from the UKV today for the end of this working week, and that could carry on into the following week and even intensify and become more widespread. So if we do have a look at the latest GFS, you can see low pressure is still in control at the moment, but it's soon going to get swamped by high pressure. And you see the high pressure is not completely dominant this week, and that's why there's still showers around across Scotland especially. But into next week, look at this, high pressure really taking control. We are going to be seeing potentially some very warm air underneath it as well. Look at that 10-degree isotherm couldn't even rule out the 15-degree isotherm. That means that we could see those temperatures getting towards the mid-20s, maybe even upper 20s. Again, we're not breaking any records for those upper temperatures, maybe 4 to 6 degrees above average. But if we do go to the surface, look at that, widely in towards the mid to late 20s, 28, 29 here for the final few days of June and early July. So very cool and unsettled start to June, but could we be seeing a much more settled and warmer second half to June here? We'll have to wait and see, but GFS 12 o'clock run today, definitely looking pretty positive indeed. Now, if we do have a look at the latest GM, again, we obviously see high pressure building in, low pressure a bit more influential further northwards, but then again, high pressure definitely building in further southwards. Unfortunately here, you can see there is more low pressure further northwards, not only giving precipitation, but also trying to introduce some cooler, fresher air masses, and it could mean there's a bit of a split. Warm in the south and the east, 26 degrees, much cooler further northwards and westwards, with heavy rain. So that's a bit of a caveat we'll have to wait for. If the jet stream slightly further south was like the GEM has it, then it could be a north-south split, which isn't too unusual this time of year. But it could mean it could be 13, 14 degrees in the north at best, with on and off rain, thick cloud. But in the south and the east, sunny, 25, 26 degrees. We'll have to wait and see, but still positive, but potentially suggesting the north and west might not get those best conditions. If we do finally compare to the ECMWF, again, low pressure in control at the moment, high pressure building back in over the coming days, still some little pesky lows to deal with, and then as we head towards day 10, again, high pressure making more of an influence, again, low pressure just trying to nudge in from the northwest, trying to bring some fresher air, but to be honest, for most, it is still pretty warm, and again, ending up in the mid to high 20s by the end of this run as well. So all three runs today aren't completely obliterating conditions. Maybe GFS is showing something that would be sort of categorised as a proper summer spell. ECMWF and GM not really giving us anything ridiculous or out of the world for the time of year, but definitely bringing us back to what many would expect to be seeing during summer, which is more dry conditions, more sunshine, and some real proper warmth. As that all could be on its way, not only this week, but more persistently and more widely into next week. Now, after you finish by looking at the ensembles, you can see again, the ensembles aren't knocking these temperatures out of sort of the record book here. You can see generally going back towards average and staying above average for much of the rest of June. Maybe a few more cooler runs into early July there, but you can see the GFS there very persistent with its warm conditions in the longer term. So again, not ridiculous, not record breaking. We're not seeing the upper air temperatures getting towards 15 to 20 degrees from all ensemble members, which we would be sort of raving about, as that would be proper heat wave levels, dangerous conditions really. If we start to get those upper air temperatures getting towards 20 degrees, that's sort of mid 30s to high 30s or even 40 degree range. But here we're looking mid 20s, maybe upper 20s, summer-like conditions, very warm, and some would even class as hot. The big change you can see, though, is not the upper air temperatures. Those have been nudging slowly upwards over the past few days. It's the precipitation. That has dropped quite a lot in the past few days. Not only that cluster around the 22nd of June has dropped, but either side as well has become fairly minimal. So that means that those ensemble members that had some doubt in that high pressure building in, that did have more low pressure dominating, definitely are starting to be whittled away here. This is for London, so further north it will be different, but it just shows you the trend at the moment. If you do compare to the ECMWF, broadly very similar, even warmer here. Still low precipitation, especially in the medium to longer range. There's that blip maybe later this week into the weekend. Again, could just be a passing low, bringing some heavy showers. But look at those upper air temperatures looking very warm, up towards the 10, 12 degree range. And again, the rule of thumb during the summer months is those upper air temperatures, 850 HP temperatures, plus about 15 degrees. So when we're seeing 10 degree upper air temperatures, we're looking roughly around 25. It could be a few degrees higher, could be a few degrees cooler, depending on cloud and rain and sunshine. But the rough rule of thumb is around 25. And that's why the ensemble average, the 1991 to 2020 mean here is around the 7 or 8 degree mark, and that sort of follows for the average peak temperatures in London, which is around the 22 or 23 degree mark. So that's kind of where we get that 15 degree bump from, and you can see here definitely looking at mid-20s, maybe even upper 20s in that medium to longer range. So very interesting indeed. I have to keep a very close eye on it, but it is looking pretty positive at this stage for some proper summer-like conditions. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.